Good morning, Bulldog Nation. Welcome back to another year of Bulldog football. I'm here with Coach Seth Parker. We're in the field house, in the weight room, and we're ready to talk about the 2025 season for PHS football. Just to recap last year, which nobody wants to think about or talk about, but the past is in the past. 2-8 record. Certainly not on anybody's bingo card. But you had several key players injured, banged up. A lot of them banged up for a good chunk of the season. Some of them lost for the season. Two of your losses, extremely close, came right down to the very last play of the game in some cases. So it tasted worse than it really was. That said, how do you feel about how we've progressed forward?
Yeah.
How did the players react to that finishing up that way?
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, it's not something we want to harp on by any means, but it's also worth noting that, kind of move forward, you kind of got to know where you've been and kind of where you want to go. And so for us, like you said, there are a few things that, I look at it as now that we've been able to move on and we get another crack at things here in a few days, that it was a positive. I mean, obviously you don't want to lose any game, certainly not 8 of them, but I think a lot of good came from it too. I think we learned a lot about ourselves. I think we had really not a lot of experience in a lot of areas going into last season, and we certainly have experience in those areas this season. So again, it's all positive. We're going to learn from all of our mistakes, and like you said, there are a couple games that were really close, but that's all they were, is close. And so that's one thing we've kind of been able to harp on this offseason, is just kind of been able to finish in like the margin of error, because you saw the margin of error in this region, I think, is very thin. That's a good and a bad thing. Games that you feel like you absolutely should win, you still have to play really well because the margin of error is thin. Games that you feel like, in the past you may have been outmatched, or maybe you haven't played very well, but you've still been right there in all the games. It's, again, you're going to have a chance in every game you play. And so, we've had a great offseason. I love where we're at. We got a very positive vibe in our locker room. I think our culture has really taken off, and we've done a great job in the weight room all off season. I think that is the most obvious thing to me. We look different in pads, and I just feel like our continuity as a staff has been much better, and I'm excited about where we're at, and really, really looking forward to our opportunity to play this Friday.
I've heard from people who have talked to other coaches who have noticed the work that the team has put in the weight room, that they're noticeably stronger, they're noticeably faster, and that a couple of them commented, "I'm glad I don't play them this year." It's just a testament to the hard work put in by the strength and conditioning coach and the players themselves. It's strength makes a big difference on the field.
Yeah, and from day one, since I've been here, it's kind of been my number one message is that is what we're going to take the most serious. And we take everything we do serious, but we're going to take the weight room very, very serious always. And that's the lifeblood of everything we do. And Coach Burt does a phenomenal job. I've said this before, I'll say it again, I really do. I think he's the best in the business when it comes to strength conditioning, and we've certainly seen a huge jump for our guys.
Yeah. This summer, you had a good slate of 7-on-7 and a lot of camps and things like that kids went to. Seemed like things went pretty well in that. Were you happy with the progression the offense made in the 7-on-7 and defense and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. Offense and defense. I think last year we went to a few more 7-on-7s. I think our record in 7-on-7 last summer was something like 3-9 or 3-11, something like that. It wasn't great. We played well in a lot of those games, kind of came up short, lost on a few last plays. And then this summer we didn't play as many games, like I said, but we went 7-1 in the games that we played, and the one loss came on the last play of the game. And we also won some games on the last play of the game. And so I was really excited, really not so much about the record. I mean, 7-on-7 means nothing. I tell our kids that. Like, I love it. I love us competing, but I don't care about 7-on-7. We're not going to base anything, any thought we have about who we are schematically on 7-on-7. It's just a chance to go compete. But that's what I'm happy about, is that we competed really well. yeah, you came out on top and a lot more than you lost. And I'm not so much focused on the record. Yes, it was great, but I'm excited and focused on the fact that we competed our tails off and found ways to win games. Whereas, it was just a progression from one year to the next. Finding a way to win a game anyway, anyhow is a huge part of success throughout a 10-game long fall season.
I mean, like you say, though, 7-on-7, it's a great way to compete during the summer and everything. But when it comes to the fall, the key component that's missing in that 7-on-7 dictates football games, and that's the play on the line.
Exactly. And I've been on some teams that were really good at 7-on-7 and not nearly as good. I mean, still, if you're really good at 7-on-7, you've obviously got some ability to go play football and have success. But the teams that I've had that were really good at 7-on-7 were maybe not as special when it came to 11-on-11 and vice versa. Teams that weren't great at 7-on-7 still may have been a great football team come 11-on-11. And so you can't read too much into it. But like I said, it's a great measuring stick for competing. And that's one thing we've been huge on this offseason is competing as much as we can.
Leadership on the field is truly built in the fires of battle, out there in the trenches, on the field, and everything like that. But there is always a transition in high school and college sports. There's a transition from year to year of leadership as kids graduate. The next leaders have to step up. How's that transition been this year?
Yeah, you go back to last year. Like I said, I mean, there's so much that's brand new in year one. I mean, you see it at every level, and obviously at each level, high school, college, pro. There's more to take on, and just differences in a regime change. But one of the biggest things is trying to get the seniors to buy in, and our seniors last year certainly bought in. But again, you only get a certain amount of time with them. You have to build that over the course of a year, 2 years, and so it is hard. And so yes, we lost some leaders this past year. A few guys have sent out to me, and Ethan Johnson played a ton of football here and was a center, touched ball every play. Losing him, obviously Brody Collins, Tide Borden, huge vocal leaders, great dudes on and off the field. And,
absolutely.
And those are big losses. But at the same time, again, coming in, yes, you have senior leaders, but you almost, knowing that it's year one, you try to almost plant that seed in that junior class, that sophomore class. And so I think we've kind of organically grown those leaders just as time's gone, but also the fact that they are seniors. I've been really pleased with our senior class. I think as a whole they've stepped up. We've challenged them on some things, their mentality across all athletics. I think that's something all of us coaches here at the school have tried to do with that now senior class is really challenge them, and because they have the ability. And so I've been really pleased with them. But, we've had some guys really step up and lead, but vocally lead by example. Jack Eubanks is a leader. I mean, he's a leader. He's a winner. He does a great job of leading. Sheldon Graham does a great job vocally leading and bringing guys along. Cole Oliver's a lead by example type of guy. And I've been really pleased with, Julian Avalos as well. He's a sophomore. He leads and is not afraid to open his mouth. But then Bronson Carroll's really stepped up. I mean, I think he's a big part of the pulse of our team. People look at him and follow him, and he's done a good job this summer. And again, it's taken a lot. I've had to get on him about some things, but also just kind of pull him aside and have these small conversations with him. And he's really done a good job of taking the coaching and learning how to lead and how to lead. It's not just saying things; it's how you say it. And I'm really proud of him and the summer he's had, just both in the weight room, on the field, and then just as a guy, as a person.
That's awesome to hear. Coming out of this off season, is there a position group that you've noticed a huge growth in?
Yeah,
not necessarily individual players, but a position group.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm glad we have this part of this process back too. No, I would say our secondary. I think last year we had a lot of inexperience in the secondary and played some really young guys, played some guys that may have not played a ton in the secondary before. But we have really all those guys back, and so that's very exciting. You also had somebody like Caden Carty, who started, I think, every game as a sophomore at corner, missed all of last year with an injury, and now he's back. And so you add him into the mix, and just, again, being able to develop some people, again, finding some defensive back kind of diamonds in the rough late in the year last year. I feel like we have a lot of experience back there. I've been really pleased with the way that they've competed this season, and I'm looking for them to make some plays this year and hopefully get us the ball back a little bit quicker than expected.
You mentioned Caden Carty. I'm excited to see what he does. He had an outstanding sophomore year, and then last year lost to a bad shoulder, and then even in the scrimmage, he jumped up, swiped the ball, looked great out there on the field. I'm really looking forward to seeing him back out there.
He's worked hard. He's had a great offseason. And he's versatile in defense too. I mean, he does a good job and a great kid too. I love being around him.
There's some new faces that we saw during the scrimmage and everything. Some people, some freshmen, and maybe a couple of other new players. Who stood out to you as fresh faces there?
I really I'm excited about this entire freshman class. I think Trip Sibley is a young quarterback who's again he's a winner. He does things the right way. He's very, very coachable. I think he's done a really good job. I'm excited about his future here with us. Garrett Wilson, another freshman, has had a great, kind of intro into high school football. And just somebody that I feel like you look at what these two are going to be when they're, 17, 18 years old. I'm really excited about them. But the whole class, I really like the freshman class. They're extremely coachable. Max Hamilton, Elijah Reed, guys that I've been really impressed with. But, as far as new faces kind of that are going to make a huge imprint on our varsity this year, at least, we hope is a huge imprint. It's not so, I think it's a good thing. We don't have a lot of new faces. A lot of these guys played some last year, truthfully. But I think, again, the growth of Colton Madewell and Xavion Campbell, those two young backs, again, they played a huge role as running backs last year, but this year I think their role is going to expand and have them in some different spots. Jack Eubanks, again, a huge part of our team. He's going to play some quarterback as well this year. He's had a great offseason. And again, love having the ball in his hands. But man, there's a variety of them. At linebacker, we've got some new guys. Kobe Kukuk played a little bit last year. We're going to have a bigger year this year. Chase Couture, same thing. Outside of that, truthfully, there's a lot of familiar faces, and I think that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, and so excited about that. And that's probably the hardest question you've asked me today, because we do have so many familiar faces, and really, really excited to see where our experience takes us.
Talking about new faces, you've got a couple of new coaches as well. I mean, having continuity year on year with your coaches is extremely important to a program. And you return all of your coaches from last year?
Every coach. Yes,
and then added a couple of new ones.
Yes, sir.
Can you introduce us to those?
Yeah, so like you said, we returned every coach we had last year. That's exciting. I've actually never been a part of a staff that everybody came back. There's so many moving parts, and people, maybe they move as a family, or they get a promotion, or this or that, and it's just, you just find yourself. Even if it's just one person, it definitely makes a difference. And so for us to have everybody back, I think it's huge for our kids. But it's big for us as men too. It's good to know each other, and I feel like I said earlier, we're just on a much more consistent kind of learning curve of where we want to.
I'm sure you're all a lot more comfortable with each other too.
Absolutely, and we all get along, man. I think we got a lot of really good guys. Every single person who works here is a great person. We do get along really, really well, and that makes it easy. But then, like you said, we added a couple more younger guys. Coach Matt Duggar, who again is a Priceville Bulldog. He's an alum, helping with our offensive line, and then Luca Fafori, who's a young guy. He's 20, but young and fresh in the coaching world, and wants to get into coaching, and played for Coach Burke at James Clemens, and I coached against him just a couple years ago. And so, again, they've both done a phenomenal job, and again, being eager to learn, but also not afraid to speak up when they need to in practice. And so, been really pleased with them, man. They've really impressed me, and that's another part of coaching I enjoy, is trying to, it wasn't long ago I was very, very, very green myself, and in a lot of ways still am, but being able to kind of help those guys out and have some of our coaches take them under their wing, it's awesome to see, and glad we have some good guys that want to pour into these young men.
I'm not going to ask you for a prediction for what your record's going to be this year.
I won't give you one.
I didn't think you would. But do you think this team has a chance to improve on last year's record?
Yes, certainly I do. I think, I think we've definitely improved as a team, but ultimately it comes down to this, we have to go out every Friday and find a way to win. I mean, every team in our region is good. Every team in our region can win. Every team in our region has good athletes. Every team in our region has good coaches. And you saw that last year. I mean, in our region, I think there was one game we were out of in the fourth quarter. Outside of that, we had a chance in every fourth quarter in these region games. And so, again, it comes down to, can we go out and execute at a high level consistently? Can we stay healthy? And then can we, take care of the ball and get the ball back? I mean, it comes down to that. And, I feel very good about where we're at. We've had a great offseason. Everybody has a great offseason, though. And so I tell our kids that, too. Yeah, you've worked hard, but so does every other team. And so, again, it comes out to, can we come out and perform on Friday nights? And I feel great about our ability to do that. I feel great about our chances. We just got to go out and make it happen. But no doubt, I think we certainly can and will improve on our performances from last year. And like I said, not gonna give you a prediction, but I'm really excited about it, and I feel like we've done all we can to prepare to go out and win this fall.
Well, we'll certainly get a chance to see what kind of improvement we're going to be able to see out of y'all this year, because Friday night we start with our Jamboree game at Sardis.
That's right.
For a Jamboree game like this, do you prepare for Sardis, or are you looking at film of your own team and trying to prepare them?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. I think you definitely want to have an understanding of what the other team's going to do, so you're at least prepared from understand what coverages they're in, what fronts they're going to be in on defense, and vice versa. What style of offense at least do they run? You may not know really necessarily their menu of plays, but what can you expect, and kind of what front do you need to give them, what coverages you need to be in. So I'd say it's more of a skeleton game plan for Sardis. We're certainly looking at film of Sardis and doing all we can to look at film from last year, from some of their other opponents' games, or some of the game we played against them. But really, you're doing this to work on yourself. And so we spend more time probably watching our own film at this point, and then going into next week with Columbia is when we'll really start doing our best to scout and game plan the opposing team. So a little bit of both, but maybe not on quite the same level as it would be for one of the 10 regular season games.
Shifting gears here, how's the family?
They're great, man. They're great. I appreciate you asking. I always do. I love a chance to talk about my family. Yeah, they're doing great, man. We've got, my daughter just turned 2 and just started Mommy's Morning Out over at Lindsay Lane, close to where we live. And my boys, they're almost 11 months old, and they actually started that today as well. And so it breaks my heart they're growing up so fast. I know they're still very young, but it's crazy how quick it's gone. And man, I'm really excited for this football season with them. Getting to have my boys at games. They're meet the Bulldogs last week, and besides actually being in their mom's belly, that's the first time they've been out to the football field. And so, I mean, it's just a dream come true for me. And having them out there brings tears to my eyes. And so, having them in little Priceville polos and hats, it's awesome. My daughter will be in cheer uniform, and the boys. I think the boys are going to miss the away games. I think it's going to be a little much to take them to the away games, but
there's only 4 of them this year.
That's right. That's right. And my daughter won't miss a game. She'll be at every game, and I'm excited to have my wife back at all the games too. I mean, it's weird, looking at the stands, her not being there last year after she delivered our twins, and so it's good to have her back. And I want to brag on her. She is a stud. I mean, she still works 30, 35 hours a week, and I'm up here now till at least 7:30 every night. So I get home, everybody's asleep, and she's done it all herself. So Sutton's the best, and man, we're so blessed, and they're growing like weeds, and it's getting hard at home. I will tell you that. It's a challenge. They got us working, that's for sure. But man, we're so happy and blessed, and love it, and love this community, and love that we get to have our kids out in this community. And we're very, very thankful for all the help that everybody gave us last season, all the grace they gave us last season too. So really appreciate it. But like I said, ready to get my family out here and have a family atmosphere out here in this thing, which you guys already have. I'm glad to join. So.
Well, we're certainly glad to have them. We're glad to have you. Bulldog Nation is we're proud as punch to have you here. I know that the community is excited. It was a great turnout for Meet the Bulldogs. And we're all looking forward to seeing the product that you're going to put on the field, and we're going to be proud of the team and you, regardless of what happens.
Well, I appreciate that. We're proud to represent you guys, and again, we do everything we do for you guys, and there is a huge sense of pride when we take the field with black and gold on. So love you guys and appreciate all the support.
Bulldog Nation, Friday night at Sardis, Jamboree game. If you can't make it to that, you have to be at Bulldog Stadium the Friday after that for our first home game of the year against Columbia. Come and see the new uniforms. I'm telling you, they're sharp. They're really nice. Coach gave me a sneak peek of them earlier today, and you're going to love it. You really are. Coach, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you. And Bulldog Nation, thank you for your time. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.